Hey, it's Fairy Grace. Do you ever feel a little wacky? Do you ever feel like you don't fit in with people? You don't fit in with life? You are different? Well, I stepped out of my lazy zone and I wrote a very simplistic children's book on the premise of that. And I actually am a very much visual person. I have to see things. And so I created the book. I had someone illustrate it. I put words to it, and then I printed it out. So I didn't waste ink. I printed it out really small just so I could make sure that it visually looked. So here it is. I've been lugging it around. It's called Wacky Jackie. And then like school, I crafted it into this little guy. And then also I found some things I needed to edit and make sure the pages look good together. And this basically is called Wacky Jackie. That's Jackie. She's a little bit wacky. She doesn't quite fit in. And I wrote this under the inspiration of all the free spirits I have met along the way in my journey. The beautiful thing about free spirits is exactly that they have free spirits that are unique and different and beautiful and one of a kind. Now, I get it. We all are unique and one of a kind and have special gifts and talents. But to me, free spirits resonate with me because there's a lightness, there's an airiness, a whimsical, which I'm attracted to. Now, some people don't like that. Some people like more of the hardcore, straight-laced, left brain type of person that's factual and grounded. Free spirits, we have butterfly wings, so we fly around, and or wings of some other sort. Dragons have wings. We have dragon wings. So anyhow, I wrote this kid book. I'm going to be putting it on Amazon soon. We just have to upload it. And I want to encourage you that the premise of Wacky Jackie is learning to still be yourself in a world where you maybe don't feel that you fit in. And I was speaking to a gentleman that the Lord put on my heart to reach out to him. I've known him for several years and I have admired him. He's very eccentric, and it's hard for eccentric people to fit in life, because if people are different, even a free spirit, maybe they meet another person that's different than them. Maybe they meet that left brain, solid, concrete type of person. They may think it's weird, and it's not weird because someone's different than you. It's just that they're different than you, and that's what makes the beauty of the world. Having all these dimensions, having all or different dimensional people. That doesn't make sense, whatever. But different dimensions of people. That's what makes life beautiful. And if we can appreciate people for who they are, then we can enjoy life. Because I have learned in my travels, in my journeys, that there's some people I just do not connect with. Like my spirit, my presence, my personality is actually clashing with them. And you can feel it, right? Especially if you're an intuitive person, you can definitely feel it. And I have learned that even if I'm not, it's not that I mind if I'm not drawn to someone, but even if I feel I am repelled by someone, I can see their beauty. I can find something good about them. I can find some type of hope in them. And then for the grumpy people or the irritable people, I can have a reaction and a belief to say maybe they're having a rough day. Maybe they had a rough childhood. Maybe they're in a bad marriage. Maybe they are taking care of their parents and they're exhausted. Maybe they're having a troubled child that they give everything to. Whatever the reason, I can give them leniency for their shortcomings, because in the long run, they've been battling something I have no clue what it is. And they are maybe internalizing it or expressing it to everyone else in an unhealthy way. And I have just learned to give grace and mercy to those that are different and those that I may be in my spirit realm for whatever reason or repelled to, because they're still human. They're still a person. And there's been some very deep moments that I don't want to share, because you will not understand my vision and my calling in life of what I am to do, and having the sympathy and having the empathy and connection to almost every soul that I meet in some way or another. And so this gentleman that I've known for years is very eccentric. And at first, sometimes he's a little bit abrasive and a little bit out there, so much so that your natural reaction to something so extremely different than you is to kind of draw back, kind of pull back, kind of give a slant stare, tilt your head, squint your eyes, and all those other things you do when you're trying to study someone and figure them out and see if do I need to fight or flight, because what is coming against me is not something I feel as normal or I'm normally used to. But there was something that drew me to him, which again may be part of my calling, seeing the beauty in people. And I saw so much gifting in him and so much uniqueness. And see, what makes you unique, what makes you different, is what makes you beautiful. Some people may not appreciate that because they don't like different. They don't like when something's not like them or looks like them or thinks like them. You're putting yourself in a box. And what happens is you're missing out on the beauty that that person can give you because you didn't allow them in a healthy sense. I'm not saying allow toxic people or dangerous people in like that. I'm just saying in its nice lightness. You didn't let them in to learn and grow from them. And in my life, I have learned that I can grow from every single person I meet and I encounter. I'm talking everyone. I can learn something. I can grow from them. Like Charles Stanley said, even if you're a bad example in church, you're good at being a bad example in church, and we can learn what not to be, kind of in that premise. So there's something you can glean from everyone. So referring back to this friend, I was drawn to him, but I saw that people gave him like a stigma. People looked down on him. People treated him differently because he was different, instead of embracing him and honoring him for the beauty that was there. If we would look past the difference to see that he's human, to see that he has talent, he has purpose, he has amazing gifts and ability, and he, like everyone, is called to great and mighty things. So this friend of mine, I'm trying to be very careful so I don't disclose in confidentiality if I haven't asked him to share some things about him. And we would talk in our meetings, we would talk in our functions that we would go to. And he would always say to me, he's like, Fairy, you're a little bit too sweet for me. I have to take you in small doses, and I need to get some Pepto-Bismol. Which to me, because I'm such a hopeless optimist and people person, I laughed. I was like, that's hysterical. And I love humor. I'm like, that's hysterical. So over the years, our paths would cross. We'd go to functions and stuff like that. And even though I nauseated him in a sense with my optimism that was sugar sweet, as he would say, he would still come to me because there was something still drawing about me to him. So there was some scientific chemical connection in our relationship, which is what you have with everyone. And I'm saying that's also platonic and romantic. You have a natural chemistry connection with people. It doesn't mean it's just romance. It's just that scientifically it cannot be explained yet. Maybe one day it will, but you do connect with people and have like a connection where you just feel connected. Okay, so moving on with that, enough said. And then over the years, he also finally got insane. And he's like, why are you so happy? What makes you this way? And I kind of was like, I don't even know. And I don't know how to answer that. And this really doesn't make, like, I didn't get it. I didn't know, I didn't understand. And then I'm like, okay, opportunity of what? To like share who I am? I don't know. So I thought about it and I'm like, I don't know. I'm just created that way. Like I've always been. And my blood type is B positive. So it runs in my vein. And then I said, my life isn't perfect. And at this time I was in a very bad situation. And I said, my life isn't perfect. This is what I'm going through, but I know that it's going to get better. And I know that I'm going to be okay. And I know that all things are going to work out. And when he heard some of my past and my current moment, he was blown away. He's like, wow, I didn't see that coming. And yet you're still positive. So now there was another dimension to me. Instead of me just being sickly sweet and handling me in small doses, be battery low in small doses because it was just too much positivity and maybe even some fakeness he felt or insincerity, I don't know. But I've met people that I think are too sweet and I'm like, yeah, tone it down. And for me, it's usually because I feel like it's not sincere, but I can tell you mine is sincere. So I don't know if that's what he's thinking, but I know that that's how I feel when I see a sugar sweet person. I'm like, tone it down. But maybe if I would hear their story and see that their life was in shambles or they've been through shambles and they're still that way, yeah, then I would have admiration and be like, wow, no, you're just seriously a happy person. So in the process over the years of reaching out to him, in closing, because this is already too long, I don't even know what I said so far, but I wanted to breathe life into them because that's my purpose for people. Breathing life, helping them find their purpose, helping them find their calling. They know what it is, but maybe subconsciously or unsubconsciously, they forgot it. and they denied it, or it was covered by people, it was covered by naysayers, it was covered by verbal abuse, whatever the reason, shame, guilt, embarrassment, failure, any of those things, and they covered it back up. So it's not that I'm creating the purpose for them, I'm just either dusting it off or removing the cobwebs in the brain or the hurt of the past and breathing them to life to what they were called to, because we all are called to something. Can I get an amen? You are watching this, you are called to something. You know it, but maybe you turn that dial, that knob off, and you forgot it, or you just discredit it for whatever the reason. So I was reaching out to him, and when we were talking, he was telling me more about himself and how over the years he now has a warped mind, that he has taken anything that was good of him, anything that he was talented in, and he buried it, he covered it, he says he destroyed it, he killed it, which sounds very heavy, but that's where he is, because he's had so many people not appreciate him for the eccentric, unique, different person that he is, and they took that and called him, like my book, the world couldn't understand Wacky and her differentness, so they called her Wacky instead of what she is, which is a sweet, amazing person. And so when you hear something long enough, good or bad, you start to believe it. The Bible even says, so as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. So how you think about yourself in your heart, in your mind, you are, because that's what you believe. So some of you need to do a paradigm shift. Some of you need to kind of switch some things around and do a 180 back to before you became warped, back before you became so hurt, so abused, so troubled, so much grief, whatever the reason, bankruptcy, loss of job, divorce, loss of a child, loss of a family, toxic people, whatever the reason. And I am called to breathe life back into him, what was taken. So as we're talking and I'm listening to him, I was like, dude, you're a visionary. You see things as if they were. You see things that we don't see. And that's a visionary. A visionary, I'm not a visionary. I think it would be awesome to be. Walt Disney was a visionary. People that have done great things are visionaries. A lot of scientists are visionaries because they see what is not seen and they scientifically discover it to back up their theory or their belief that was innately put in their heart or their eyes from what they see. They're visionaries. I'm creative. I can create things. I'm visual, like I have to see them. But a visionary is someone that can see what others cannot see. And that is who he is. Like, I just knew it. And I compared him. I'm like, you're like a Walt Disney. What Walt Disney did was he saw something that was never created. So he went to an amusement park with his children and he saw it was dirty. He saw there was dirt on the floor and there was gum on the floor and just things weren't nice. And he's like, he envisioned, he saw it, he felt it, he believed it, that you could make a theme park, an amusement park, family friendly. I just spit everywhere. Did you see that? And guess what? He saw it, he believed it, he envisioned it. One of his quotes, if you can dream it, you can do it. He did it. But he did it out of sacrifice. He had to give up family time. He had a nervous breakdown. He sacrificed so much to bring some greatness. So as a visionary, people didn't see what he saw, right? They didn't. Now we all see it. And that's the downfall, that in a visionary, the burden they have to carry. So a visionary, their very gift is their curse. And that's usually how it goes. Your gift is also your Achilles heel. And curse. So you have to hone it, you have to harness it, and not let that get the best of you. So Disney saw this, and even when he made Disney World, which is in California, Disneyland, he then created Disney World, which is in Florida, where I was born. I'm a Floridian. I've been there. I love him. I know all about my Disney. Remember, even from the age of 2. And he actually died before Disney World was created. And someone came up to his daughter and they said, I really wish Walt was here to see it. And his beautiful, amazing daughter said, he saw it before any of us. Like, he already saw it. He knew what it was going to be. And he was buying up swampland. Who wants to buy a swampland and think you can actually build on it? But Walt did. So a little fun tidbit, if you go through Walt Disney World, on the windows, from what I've read, on the windows are different names when you walk down Main Street. And those are the names that he bought the different properties, because he didn't want people to really see what was going on or jack up the price. So a very wise businessman. But Walt was a visionary. He saw something that did not exist. He believed in something that others could not understand, or really just like flippantly, like sometimes visionaries share their grandiose ideas and we're like, yeah, we think nothing of it. We don't see its value. We don't see its beauty. We don't see how great it's going to be or could be if we don't end up doing it. So I told my friend, because he's created something, I'm like, you're a visionary, you're just like Walt. And the normal people, the average person, is not going to understand it. They're not going to see it. So, because this video is way too long as it is, and will probably take 2 days to download, I really want to get this out, and I hope someone's enjoying it. If it is, share it, like it with other people. You're visionary, subscribe if you're on YouTube. It encourages me to do what I feel I'm led to, and I hope that I encourage you to do what I know you are meant to do. So Myers-Briggs is a wonderful psychology test. I know some people immediately are like, oh, test, and they freak out like school, or other people's personalities think, oh, test, I'm not going to do it. It's going to show what's wrong with me. And that is not the right mindset. The psychological test of Myers-Briggs will show you who you are in the different 16 different personalities in the world. And then you go to personalitypage.com, putting in the 4 initials that you are, that you got from the Myers-Briggs test. And I want to say it's about 70% accurate of who you are and how you were created, and your positive things, and yes, your negative things, because we all have positive and negative. But a healthy person can see what they're naturally have to work on, because they naturally have this weakness or tendency that's not healthy, and they can become, as they call it, a healthy person. So you can work on those things or be aware of them. Sometimes if you're just aware of something you're maybe would be troubled in, or a hang up with you, or a con about you, you're aware of it, so you stay away from it. What you're drawn to, someone that knows they have a gambling problem. Gambling in a whole may not be terrible for someone else. They do it, they manage it, that's in a safe zone, and then someone else knows, okay, I can't gamble, just like my grandfather, I've lost everything and I'm in bankruptcy and lost my family, which then led to drinking. So it just depends on who you are. So I digress in that. But your personality will show you what you are, in pros and cons. And when you learn who you are, you know how more confidently to be yourself. So I recommended to my friend 2 different things. To rewire your brain, if you're more negative and you're more cynical, you say 3 things you're thankful for every day. I have my youngest son doing it. I have my husband doing it. Still working on our teenagers to do it. I came in late in their life and they're great kids, but you know, who wants their stepmom to tell them to do La La Land fluffy unicorn stuff? But I have my husband guide him, encourage him to do it, and my youngest son. So when you say 3 things you're thankful for every day, you are rewiring your brain to think positive, to think as a healthy tree of life instead of just a dead stump that just happens to be there. So he took this Myers-Briggs test. You can go to humanmetrics.com if someone wants to put the link down here. I know Randy Johnson has shared it on my page before, so you can click on that. My friend took the test. He took the test and he got his 4 initials. He actually even said, I took the test on 2 different places. I got the same results, confirming that it was accurate and that's who he was. But he then didn't take the 4 initials and actually read his report, read his analysis or whatever, what that personality is. And I laughed and I said, those initials are familiar. I think my good friend Dennis Newton and a couple other people I'm good friends with that I synergize well with, I think that's what they are. So I Googled his initials and he's a visionary. Can I have a moment of wow? He is the visionary. So like 16 different personalities. There's like the engineer, the executive, the giver, the caregiver. Like those are their titles. They're all positive because everyone is innately positive in their powers. So I said to him, I said, you're the visionary. He didn't know because he didn't look it up. He just wrote his initials down. I says, dude, we were just talking about this. Can we say it's a confirmation? It's a confirmation because I spoke life into you. I spoke what you were. I didn't create it. I just saw it. And you took the test and you had it in 2 places. So you know that this to some extent is legit and it is founded in psychology. So, my point is, take the human metrics test, see who you are. It's funny because one of the personalities so is against testing and labels and reading their profile. Like, they will fight you tooth and nail. And it's so funny because the test actually reveals that that is your personality. I have someone that is a hypochondriac, and that's actually in the profile. That's not saying it's a bad thing. It's actually quite funny, but she knew that she needed to fix, okay, I'm a little prone to being a hypochondriac. Let me rationally and research and be educated in thinking what really is and what really isn't. I have my hello name tag because I was just with a wonderful group of ladies for women's prayer breakfast, which is super awesome, and we all iron sharpen irons, encouraging each other. And when I was hearing the story, like, each lady gives their testimony, their story of their life, and it's always so amazing because I see them as a perfect being. I see them as a beautiful, delicate rose petal. I see them as soft and tender and gentle and kind and giving and wise. And then they tell their story, and I'm like, woo, Lord have mercy, girlfriend. I did not see that coming. But that's, again, being like my friend that says, I'm warped. I got rid of all my good stuff because of the naysayers, because I didn't fit in. These women rose over adversity. And maybe you think right now that I'm a woman that cannot rise over my adversities, or I'm a man that's going through so much, I can't overcome what has been given to me, what I have gone through, what I was born into. And yes, you can. It's a decision you make. And there's simple little steps you can take to rewiring your brain and start to think positive and start to make right choices instead of wrong choices, and believe and have the confidence that you're capable of making the right choices, which you are. And again, so as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. Start to think in your heart and mind all the things that you're great. Start saying your affirmations out loud. I'm amazing. I'm talented. I'm creative. I make good choices. I live a successful life. Whatever you want to say. I'm healthy. I eat healthy. I exercise. Whatever it is, you speak the things that you want. Now, for you to actually become that, you do have to also believe it. So that's why you have to get it in your heart. So you can say a million times, I'm a millionaire, I have the best wife. But if you really don't believe it, you speaking it out is not going to synergize and come together and release that and open it up. So you have to truly believe it. So by saying it, you can help believe it. Because remember, again, I said, whatever you hear often enough, you're going to believe, whether it's good or bad. So you have to get that ingrained. Take all the negative, like my friend that has had so many people just poop on him. Okay, that was a horrible visual, but crap on him. Oh, that's still bad. Let's try to go somewhere else with it. But go through the issues he had, get rid of them, and start speaking life into himself, and hang out with people like me or other people that speak life into people, and you will start to believe, and you'll start to build the confidence. And you can do that by little things, like, one, I'm about to preach to someone, get out of your pajamas. There you go. Wow, boom, wonderful. Get out of your pajamas. Here's another one. When I feel really yucky, brush your teeth. Sometimes I have yuck and filth from the coffee and the milk and the whatever, hot cocoa. Love me some hot cocoa. I need to brush my teeth from my 10 snacks. I snack all day. I have 2 breakfasts. I'm like a hobbit. Just by brushing my teeth, getting that yucky, grimy feeling, stinky dragon breath off. Okay, so now we've learned I have dragon wings and I have dragon breath sometime. Dragon fire would be awesome. To do the simple things. Put nice clothes on, clothes that you feel good about. I get compliments a lot on my clothes. Not so much since I had my kid, because I got pregnancy brain, and then I just really, it never came back after I had my child. I used to dress better. I need like a stylist, so if anybody wants to be that. But I go to the thrift stores and I piece things together on a super awesome budget by women that are my size. If you're a size 2 and wear a size 6 foot, 6.5, forget if I'm a 6 or 6.5, please mail them to me. I appreciate it. But go there, get something that you feel good on. You can dress yourself at a thrift store for $10. Add shoes and maybe it's $15. I've even bought some Victoria's Secret bras. Is that too much? That's the only bra I wear. I will go to the thrift store. I know it sounds messed up. I said too much TMI. Welcome to my world. That's Wacky Jackie. You just watch it in this certain Clorox and then it gets any bacteria and stuff, not just regular soap. But I have found them at the thrift store. So anyhow, I digress because this is super long. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, subscribe if this is YouTube. If you're on Facebook, share it. Encourage me. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you didn't like, because my personality is healthy in this regard, that I can take constructive criticism well. I actually yearn from it because my personality wants to become better. But an unhealthy version of myself, we don't take constructive criticism well. And I make sure that I'm aware of that. That honestly hasn't been ever a problem of mine, because I more strongly want to be better, and a little bit of perfectionism in there. So I don't have to worry about that, but I'm aware of it. So if you're like Wacky Jackie, if you're my friend that's eccentric, if you don't feel like you fit in the world, if you're like Wacky Jackie, know that you are beautiful and the world needs you exactly the way you are. I'm Fairy Grace, and you're amazing.